Here to present, Chief Executive Travis Ricciardo. Travis.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me tonight too. So about this time last year, I was actually visiting East Kalgoorlie Primary School, and I heard a sentence said at this school that I honestly thought I would never hear said, and it's stuck with me ever since. The Year 5-6 teacher there, Miss Langford, she walked outside of her classroom. She took 10 paces straight forward, and she turned around and she raised her head, and she said, "Manuel, please get down from the roof, will you? And stay down this time." And she said it so calmly, which struck me the most. You see, for Miss Langford, Manuel's tendency to jump on the roof during class time was really not a big issue in the context of things. You see, at Manuel's school, East Kalgoorlie Primary School, all of the kids come from extremely low socioeconomic backgrounds. At East Cal, they actually have a staff member drive around to most of the kids' houses just to make sure they even get to school that day. Many of the students come from broken families, a history of domestic violence and drug abuse, a cycle of poverty and disadvantage. Over half the students come to school without even getting breakfast at home, so they eat toast when they arrive. And East Kalgoorlie is far from the exception. In rural and remote WA, it's a similar story in all directions. 3 in 5 Indigenous kids living in remote areas won't even finish school. Can you believe that? So for Manuel and so many kids just like him, what's going to give him the absolute best chance of a bright future? Of finishing school, valuing education, and then raising his kids to do so too. What if Manuel had a tutor all through primary school? Someone who would help him focus on his work one-on-one. Someone who could assist him in the specific areas that might be holding him back from learning the next thing. What if the tutor was a university student? Someone who was a role model to Manuel, who shared a passion for learning. At Teach, Learn, Grow, this is what we do. Through one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, we aim to give kids in rural WA who are born into disadvantage every opportunity to reach their potential, to not let their circumstances define their destiny. Our project is to deliver free one-on-one tutoring to 40 more students in rural and remote WA. We plan to do this through 2 ways. First, our rural program. The students receive one-on-one tutoring for a full week within their schools twice a year, once in June and again in November, every year. Here the tutors deliver outcomes-aligned tuition to the students in areas chosen by their classroom teachers. And secondly, eMentor. For the kids in Year 5 and 6, they are able to engage with the tutor online one-on-one for an hour every week throughout the school term between the in-person rural programs. TLG started only 5 years ago. Currently, we deliver our rural program to 15 schools across the state. With your help, tonight, we hope to grow that to 1 more remote school. And so what measurable outcomes are our programs delivering? 84% of the kids show improvement in their academic understanding and attainment. Teachers indicate that 88% of the students are contributing more in class, and 72% of the students actually show a measured increase in their attitudes towards school. And it's really worth considering the long-term economic return from investing in the education of our most disadvantaged youth. I started this evening with a story of Manuel, and I want to tell you one more brief story. It's of a young man named Eli from Meekatharra. Eli had his first TLG program in November 2015. In providing the information to TLG, Eli's teacher indicated that he was one of the naughtiest kids in class. But when he was actually paired with a TLG tutor, he was the most conscientious and respectful student you would ever meet. Before TLG were able to return on the next rural program, 6 months later, Eli and his family actually moved to Carralundi, which is 60 kilometres north of Meekatharra. And when Eli learned that TLG tutors weren't going to return to his school, he went to the effort to actually walk from Carralundi to Meekatharra just so that he could get his TLG tutor again. And I looked this up on Google Maps. It's actually an 11-hour walk, which is unbelievable. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd love to thank you all this evening for listening. Your pledge for TLG tonight is a pledge for a brighter future for kids who were born into disadvantage in rural WA. Through quality education, we strive to give these kids every opportunity to reach their potential. For some of these kids, that just might mean the difference between finishing school or not. Thank you very much.